Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pre-Vegans Podcast, your go-to spot for plant-powered tips, inspiration, and stories to fuel your journey. On today's episode, we're getting into some nutrition talk with a deep dive into B12 and why it's important for everyone, not just vegans. Plus, we're thrilled to have Dr. Neal Barnard from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine sharing his inspiring vegan origin story. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
What's up, everyone? V here. Did you miss me? If this is your first time tuning into the Pre-Vegans Podcast, welcome to the community. So here's the deal. We're all about giving you the tools and tips you need to crush it on your vegan journey. And fun fact, a lot of the stuff we talk about here comes straight from your questions. Seriously, we're here to save you time and help you live that healthy, compassionate life. All right, enough chit-chat. Let's get into it. Today's topic, we're diving into B12 and why it's not just something vegans need to think about. It's for everyone. Vitamin B12. It's one of the most essential nutrients for keeping our bodies strong and energized. But it's often overlooked until a deficiency sneaks up. Whether you're plant-based or not, B12 plays a huge role in your overall health. From creating red blood cells to protecting your nervous system, this tiny vitamin does it all. But here's the catch: B12 deficiency doesn't just affect vegans. Older adults, pregnant individuals, and even meat eaters with digestive issues are at risk. So, how do we stay on top of it? Fortified foods, supplements, and sublingual drops are some of the best ways to boost your intake. And if you're wondering which form of B12 works best, cyanocobalamin is affordable and reliable, while methylcobalamin is easier to absorb for those with digestive challenges. The bottom line? B12 is vital for energy, mental clarity, and long-term health. Want to dive deeper into how you can thrive on a plant-based diet? Head over to prevegans.com for more tips and resources to keep your health on track. Your body will thank you. And we're back. You know what time it is. It's vegan origin story time. Today we've got a good one for you. We're hearing from Dr. Neal Barnard. If you don't know him yet, let me fill you in. Dr. Barnard is the man when it comes to plant-based health. He's been in so many documentaries sharing all the facts and science behind vegan living. And honestly, he's just a legend. Let's get into it.
I grew up in North Dakota. Been to Fargo? No?
Watch the movie.
You saw the movie?
Television.
Oh, hey, that counts. That counts. That's where I grew up. And every day of my life, it was roast beef, baked potatoes, and corn, except for special occasions when it was roast beef, baked potatoes, and peas. But that was like all I knew. And the year before I went to medical school, I had a job in Fairview Hospital in Minneapolis in the basement, where the morgue was. And when anybody died, my job was to prepare the... Don't look at me that way. My job was to prepare the body for the examination. And they were in the cooler, and I'd pull them out. And the pathologist knew that I was going to go to medical school. So he would tell me everything. And he one day in particular, there was a guy who died in the hospital of a massive heart attack. And so the pathologist slits open, you open the skin, and then he ripped out a big chunk of ribs so he could expose the heart. And he looked at the heart, and it was filled with atherosclerotic plaque that's in one of the coronary arteries on the surface of the heart. It's just narrowed. It's like rusty pipes. And so he showed that to me, and he would say, "This is your bacon and eggs, Neal. This is your pork chops, da-da-da. That's what causes this." At the end of the exam, he left the room. And so my job then was clean up. And so I put all the organs back in the body. I put the ribs, which were on the table, put the ribs back in the chest, and I sewed the skin up and cleaned everything. And then I went up to the cafeteria, and they were serving ribs for lunch. And I want to tell you, I did not become a vegetarian on the spot, but it looked like a dead body, and it smelled like a dead body. And I realized, this is a dead body. It's not a human body, but if you're eating pieces of a cow or a chicken or whatever, you are eating... I know it sounds funny to think of it as a corpse, but that is what it is. And so I started to reflect on, up until that point, I had hunted. I had driven cattle to slaughter myself with my uncle. And I had a job at McDonald's when I was a kid and all this stuff. And I started to rethink, this is kind of crazy. And eventually I also discovered the other health aspects, the animal aspects, the environmental aspects. And I have to say that you grow up, and in the same way as you learn there is no Santa Claus, there is no normal, sane way to keep eating the way we're eating. And that's a little bit about what I want to talk about today. The diseases that we suffer from. I'm talking about heart disease, many forms of cancer, obesity, diabetes, hypertension. These are things that are directly related to what we eat, and primarily an animal-based diet. Now, our bodies are fragile things. You can get sick no matter what. Nothing's perfect. Even a vegan is going to have a health problem here and there. But we are asking for trouble. If you pop a cigarette in your mouth and you light it up, you're asking for trouble if you put a burger or a steak or a chicken breast on your plate. And it took me a long time to figure that out, but it's true. And what we have been doing is, I mentioned earlier, is we do research. I don't want people to just take this on faith. We have to prove it. So we bring people in who have diabetes and we put them on vegan diets. I mean, a plant-based diet, no animal products. And you see their diabetes improving dramatically. Dean Ornish, who is a medical genius, if ever there was one, showed that you could do this for heart disease. You bring in a person with narrowed arteries, you put them on a plant-based diet, have them put out the cigarettes, have them handle stress, have them exercising, even mild exercise. Put it all together. The arteries start opening up again. It's amazing. So that's the word that we want to get out there. Anyway, that was my journey. It started in the basement of Fairview Hospital in Minneapolis.
That's a wrap for today's episode. Shout out to all our amazing club members, especially Alex from Tampa, Cindy in Atlanta, and Mai all the way from Japan. You guys are the real MVPs. If you want to hear your name in a future episode and get access to more cool resources like what you heard today, head over to prevegans.com. We've got challenges, articles, and all the podcast episodes available Netflix style. Yep, you can binge episodes weeks before everyone else. So check it out. And tell them V sent you. Catch you later.
You're listening to the Pre-Vegans podcast, part of the Vegans Explore Network. For more info on the Pre-Vegans program, upcoming challenges, and how to get involved, head over to prevegans.com. Today's episode was edited and produced by Vegans Explore founder Shawnee Russell.